Hi guys, today we're talking about the NRHA Futurity Finals, which at the time of this recording happened on Saturday. It's now Thursday. It's been a few days for everybody to kind of digest the futurity, I guess, as a whole, as well as the finals. So we're going to answer some questions that were sent in here today about who won. There was a couple people who wanted to know who won. What we thought of the winning runs, what stud horses were kind of dominating in terms of entries in the non-pro and in the open. And there was one other question. What was it? What was your favorite horse? So we are going to get to all of that. If you have questions as we go along, you're more than welcome to leave them for us. We'll try to answer them while we're live. If you're watching the replay, we will circle back to those and try to get those answered for you as well. For anybody who doesn't know what the futurity is, can you just explain briefly what it is that we're talking about in case somebody's watching who does not know what the futurity is?
So the futurity we're talking about is the NRHA Futurity, which is the National Reining Horse Association. Futurity is for 3-year-olds only. They're nominated when they're weanlings to be eligible, and then they're only 3-year-olds can show it. So this is likely one of the most watched and arguably, the most prestigious event to win in the reining horse deal. The cow horses had their futurity back in October, and the cut-in horse futurity is still going on down in Fort Worth. So those are kind of the three we will always watch, but this one here for the reiners is this is the big one. They have to show 2 go-rounds. They have the first go-around, the semifinals, and then the ones that make it back. There was 423, I think, entries
in the open futurity.
In just the open.
And then that gets dwindled down, and then the top 30 in the level 4. Is it the top? No, it ain't the top 30 in the other levels, is it? 25, right? Anyways, the top, however many make it back into the 1, 2, and 3 for Saturday. And then the level 4 finals being on Saturday night that just went by.
And then the levels are broken down based on the rider's eligibility and how much they've won, how much money they've won in the show pen. So what's kind of neat about the NRHA Futurity is that when you enter, you're automatically entered up into any of the divisions that you're eligible for. So, for me, I'm eligible for level 1. I have not shown at a lot of futurities, or one futurity? 2 futurities. I've shown at 2 futurities. So I don't have a lot of money earned for the futurity stuff. So that means I'm eligible to show for the level 1. But if I enter, my entry fees automatically put me all the way up in the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what is kind of neat and a fun way to look at it is when somebody who is eligible for all of the levels or a lot of the levels does make it to the level 4 final, because the level 4 final has, it's a whole production. It's an event that people, fly across the country to come and watch. There's a lot of money that's up for grabs. It changes a horse's life to be able to say that they're a level 4 open futurity finalist.
And a trainers.
And a trainers, yeah.
That's the goal. I mean, nobody ever said they didn't want to win the futurity, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it's exciting for that reason. It's exciting because they're 3-year-olds, and it's exciting when we get to see, the offspring of a stud horse, or I guess a mare, who maybe won it before, or whose career you followed. You finally get to see their babies. They're finally old enough to go and compete, and you get to see them. And it's just historically been the biggest show for reiners. I meant to ask you this. Did you see that there's a $1 Million Derby added at the North American? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so who won?
well, some people didn't even get to watch the winning run.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that first?
No, let's talk about it. Yeah.
So the winner was Brian Bell, East Coast gentleman for many, many years.
Already a $2 million rider.
His father has been a breeder forever and showed horses forever. Brian has always been very competitive. He's been second
at the Futurity.
I'm going to say twice.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that, and third a couple times.
Yeah. And never won it.
Never won it. So that was sure neat to see. The reason we say a lot of people didn't get to watch to who actually won it, so they had a tie. In the regular 30 horses, they had a tie. I think it was the second last horse in. Was Fapani?
No, he was the last one.
Was he the last one?
He was the last one.
And they had a tie, and then NRHA had a screw up of epic proportions, as far as I'm concerned. They announced that there was going to be they were going to co-champion and tie it.
So yeah, Brian was earlier in the draw and held his score right till the end, and then Fapani came in and tied him.
And then it was almost an hour, wasn't it? Because they had brought all the awards in, the trailer,
it was an hour.
and everything.
It was an hour before Fapani ran again, but
right. And then they said they were going to co-champion, and then they came back with, they're going to run it off. And both horses still looked great in the runoff. Neither one looked bad. Because I think Brian was like a 224, 223, and Fapani was like only 1.9.
225 and a half the first time, and then 224 or something the second time, I think. Yeah. But
they look good, and I guess a shout out to Canadians involved was the horse that was reserve was in the runoff. The gentleman and his wife that own it, the gentleman was originally from Ontario, right up here in Sarnia. The Archer family has had horses for years. He now resides outside of Houston, does a lot of non-pros and a lot of all-around horses, and always had reiners. Trainer himself, very competent trainer. Sent the horse to Fapani, and there was, his 35th wedding anniversary gift to his wife or something?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool story, yeah.
But a little bit of an Ontario-Canadian connection there. And I think for the finals too, another big shout out was definitely, I might mess up his name, Jesse Beckley was in there in the finals and looked
was he
really good.
Was he reserve in the level 3?
Yeah.
He was up there in the level 3 anyway.
That horse looked really, really good.
Really
so
nice.
Another Canadian, West Coast Canadian, so do we count that?
Yes, we do, yes.
Yeah, it's the West Coast.
Oh my gosh. You know how much black Ontario gets?
Anyways, it was very good. He's had some very nice horses over the years. He is West Coast Canada. I've never met the gentleman, but always his horses look very good. And I thought this one looked exceptionally well. So that was kind of neat. I'm going to miss a few people. Mary Lou and Bob. Mary Lou made the level 1 non-pro finals. And a shout out for them for hauling a horse back for us that a customer bought.
And the one that she showed was homebred, right?
Homebred. She showed the father.
Yeah.
I don't know about the mother. I forget, but everything was homegrown on that deal and home trained, and so kudos to. And she's made the Futurity finals multiple times, and good for them. I know I'll mess up because I know there's more Canadians, but.
Well, Dany Tremblay, and there was a question about that too because he had a horse fall down. But Dany used to be Canadian. Is Canadian.
Did he get one back?
Was it not in the finals that the horse laid down?
No, that was second go.
Oh, was this a semi?
Yeah, won the first go. And
okay, so it didn't come into the finals, Yeah, so there was a question about that. Dany had a horse fall down, laid down. Horse ran in, backed up hard, ran in and stopped hard, backed up hard.
Nope.
Was it in the second direction that no?
This was the second go around. It was a walk-in pattern.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Walked in, turned first turn okay, and then second turn.
I think it was actually his first turn that the horse was put
Was
on.
it his first turn?
Don't quote me, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Horse
Horse went down, got a
went
zero.
down,
Danny was all right.
zeroed. Yeah, Dany was fine. Horse was not hurt, walked out fine.
Social media blew up with all the
Social media
crazy
blew up.
responses on both sides.
Yeah, social media blew up. So let's talk about that for just a second. And I hate stuff like this because, you know, there's so much bullying on the internet. I know what it's like putting videos of yourself out on the internet and all of your, you know, mistakes are out there for everybody to see and comment on. And I hate to contribute to that. Like in some ways, I just don't even want to go there and don't even want to contribute to that because there's so much effort, so much time and effort and money and everything that goes into
Yeah, but there's some good and bad to that too. I mean,
getting a horse ready.
the horse won the first go.
It did, yeah.
Even in the turnaround when he went down, is a phenomenal athlete. And if you're, in my opinion, if, you know, right or wrong, I mean, horses shouldn't fall, but then we say that, and I had one go down this morning as I'm training on.
Yeah, it's
It
a thing that
happens.
happens. But then the internet takes hold of it, and the internet goes,
No, but we can't control crazy. We got enough crazy at Cook Road. We don't need theirs.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so
I
what,
think
was your,
from
what were your thoughts on the horse falling down? Somebody just said what happened. That was the question that we were asked, was what happened with the horse that fell down?
The horse buckled down in his legs and went down. In my opinion, and I don't know the gist of it. I mean, I know Dany. I, you know, enjoy talking to Dany lots, or not lots, but when I see him, you know, the horse just got buckled down on his back legs a little bit and folded up and went down. It is what it is. I don't, you know, of course, on the internet, the stories that go around are just crazy, and I don't know that. Right, wrong, or indifferent, so that's not my cup of tea to talk about. Should the horse have been back on his hocks that far? We all say no, but if you're going to show these things and you're going to ride them, it's going to happen. You know, that's just the way life is. You know, sucks to see it go down. You know, was definitely one with enough talent. Dany has made the finals multiple times and made finals in some major events, and I think he won the NRBC a couple years ago. That's Sandra horse.
Yeah, he's had a great career. He's a great,
You know,
he's a great
originally
job.
from Quebec, moved down south. Him and his brother Fred. You know, they've taken off like wildfire down there. It's worked out really well for him. Unfortunately, that didn't, and there's such a lot of talk right now about stuff like that. Being in the racehorse world and the show horse world, it's just unfortunate that it goes around the internet. I think, to me, the only downside of that whole story is NRHA doesn't handle it very well. I mean, I'm pro NRHA. You know, I don't work for them. I don't have to have a say either way, but I just think that they don't handle it.
How do you think it should be handled? Like, I thought Dany handled it well.
I think Dany handles it well.
Stepped off the horse, checked to make sure it was okay, gave it a hug, walked it out.
Right. But
then
NRHA's way of dealing with everything is they hide and they don't want to talk about it. You know, NRHA needs to sit there and talk about the well-being with the horse, with the rider. You know, if it involves a drug test, if it involves whatever, if they want to be proactive, they need to be proactive and step up. You know, nobody wants to be that, and I get it. I mean, I've run horse shows. You don't want to.
So they implement a rule that if a horse falls down or does something.
Well, we have stewards that say they can check us at any time.
Yeah, so the stewards wouldn't have flagged that and said we should
in my opinion,
check
they
that
would,
for
but who
drugs
wants,
or
who
check
wants
to
do
make
that,
sure
right?
that it's sound.
Right.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be a good thing to have that.
I'm not saying that's even the way it has to be, but there needs to be something in place so that the warriors on Facebook can't come back and say, well, you know, we're all watching this and nothing happened. I think that's the, you know, if they have somebody that can step up and kind of be the person in charge on that.
It does. I agree. It does seem kind of weird. I know it hasn't been done that way, but it does seem kind of weird that you have like you know, before you go in, you have your bit checked and they walk around and check for blood, and they, you know, at the World Show, they had us jog, you know, make sure the horse was sound. But then when something like that happens, nothing happens. I think that would be
that's
a
been
good...
NRHA's response for years, is let's just not talk about it and hope it goes away.
Yeah. That would be a good thing to add in, would be like...
And it doesn't have to be a bad thing against Dany. You just say, okay, we've had this problem. Like, we're going to take you. You know, we want a vet check. We want to, you know, make sure the horse is okay. And then when all the keyboard warriors get on bashing, they can say, well, we have done our due diligence and we have proactive, or would it be proactive? Or, you know, we have done our stuff and went after it and made sure the horse's well-being was taken care of. You know, not just before they run. And as an exhibitor, I don't want somebody watching over my back 24 hours a day, but if it involves, we get to show horses more, maybe that's what it needs to come to. And what do you think? That was kind of a big rant about something.
I think these things do just happen. Sometimes it does just happen where a horse gets a little bit too far back and they slip and fall down, or they, you know, they're a bit tired, or they're whatever. I mean, you can't really vet check for tired. You can vet check for drugs. You can vet check for lameness, but they legitimately could have just hurt themselves when they fell, right? And then what?
Yeah, I don't mean NRHA checking for lameness.
You're not looking for a punishment. You're.
No, but I meant like NRHA could help out and say, okay, your horse got hurt in the show pen. Let us help. Like, let's get this thing in, you know, so that we can all say we've taken care of our own.
So it's really just PR. It's not really in the best interest of the horse then.
Well, it would force people to, because I mean, let's face it, we've been at horse shows where there was sick horses and stuff, and it's not really taken care of. You know, some trainers do, some people don't. Yeah. You know, kudos to Dany. I wasn't there, but there was a lot of talk, and he put a thing on there saying like it went over to the saltwater spa thing. They lunged, you know, and he did a good thing. He lunged it the next day to show everybody this horse is okay. You know, I think he did what he could. I think we have to look at it as a PR thing because horse shows are looked at because of videos and Facebook. I mean, how many times has that video been shared worldwide? You know, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine yesterday.
Somebody's watching this going, what the heck are they talking about? There's a video of the horse falling down that's gone basically viral, and there's a bajillion comments on it accusing the rider of being too heavy, the horse being too young, too many middle of the night rides, drugs in the system, sliding plates.
And nothing with proof, that's the best
Sliding plates being cruel because the horse slipped, like all kinds of things,
You know, it is what it is. And the same thing, there was a horse go down at the NRHA Futurity. Horses slip.
Horses fall
if
down
in the field. If you're going to play this game, they're going to do it,
Horses fall down outside on their own.
But anyways, I mean, Dany's fine, the horse is fine. You know, I don't know the whole gist of it, but I thought Dany did a good job of the PR from his point of view. Was he showed the thing lunging, you know, you know, and Dany does. I mean, he takes them over to the saltwater spas and stuff, and they do a good job that way. They have to if you're going to play the game. Be interesting if anything comes about it as far as implementing rules, but who knows? There's lots of opinions about it. I hate the ones on Facebook where you think, you've never done anything with these things, like, come on.
Well, and I even thought, like, at the World Show where they do have the checks before and they do have the checks after, like, anybody who was first, second, I don't know if it was all the way into the top 10, but you had to go to, like, the vets. The vets had, like, a big setup with stalls and stuff. You had to go over there and get a checkup with the vet to get confirmed, to get your spot confirmed. And NRHA doesn't do anything like that, right? They do, the horses were, last year when we were there, I know they were announcing the horses were escorted by, I don't know if it was a steward or who it was, but they were escorted from the gate to the drug testing area. I don't know if they looked at
the finals.
Yeah, I don't know if they looked at anything else, but anyways, that was a long-winded answer to that question. What was your favorite horse that showed? Don't say my favorite horse, because then I won't have anything to say.
Well, I don't know which one your favorite horse is.
Which one was your favorite that ran?
I mean, obviously, top bunch were, you know, you couldn't be in anything but awe. I mean, Brian's was just a huge stopper and turnaround horse. Holy moly. You know, and it won the Congress and it won the, did it win the 100X? Is that the third one?
Whatever's in Florida.
And I heard a neat thing too, because that thing's grandmother is the highest money earning horse, with the exception of the Run for a Million stuff. There was for many, many years. Greatest mare, arguably, and producer and all that other stuff. And I forget the story, but there was some type of history in the very beginning of him on that horse too, when he worked for when Double Run had her. And she's now set up because Wimpy's little chick had to win the Derby and the NRBC and everything to make all that money. With all the extra added money now, she's pretty much there already. She can go lope through a couple of Derbies and become the highest money earning mare pretty quick, you know, as time goes on. So that's neat to see a whole lot of, you know, extra money put into a bunch of shows. Who's your favorite horse? Because I don't have one. There wasn't one that stood out. There wasn't one that stood out to me and went, like, there was a bunch of gorgeous ones. It was neat to see Done It for Whiskey's full brother. Looked just like him, you know, and I thought that, you know, that was sure neat to see. I mean, I liked that stud a whole bunch. There wasn't one where I was like, oh, wow. But as a whole, there was a whole group of, you know, such nice horses. I think the standout is hard to get anymore. Who was your favorite?
I liked Dr. Voodoo that Nathan Piper was riding.
Yeah, that thing was cool. Very
that
cool.
was my favorite one.
And that was a Voodoo Doctor out of the same mother as Patriot, so that was...
He looked cool. What is he doing? Like...
I don't know.
The dog's trying to get in on the Facebook Live. Favorite horse, what did you think of the winning run?
I thought it was cool for multiple reasons. I mean, what a physical mare. I mean, you know, Whiskey and Diamonds hasn't been wonderfully represented lately. I don't know the best way to say that, but there hasn't been a ton in all the finals. He's, you know, he hasn't been
been the hot one.
Yeah, he was kind of one of the studs a few years ago that everybody's talking about, and then it just kind of seemed like he fell off. But holy moly, I mean, that thing. I went back and actually watched one of his runs, because I think one thing that gets lost when you watch it is how dynamic that is. You have to remember the size of the arena.
Oh, when you watch it on the computer or the TV instead of
and you miss some of the speed.
Yeah.
Brian can turn anything around. I mean, that's his big move. He can make him turn. But that son of a gun drug its fan. He's so bloody long. I mean, heck, if they would have let him run back towards the outgate, he would have went out into the outdoor pen. I mean, it was huge how much that thing stopped. And then she just looked like she could go do it again. You know, so that was very cool to see. I actually didn't see his winning run. I saw the runoff. I didn't see the other one. I might have been snoring at that point. Maybe. But that was cool. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, the winning run, Fapani's run, like they were great. It didn't feel like the most exciting futurity overall to me. Like I wasn't, I don't know, I didn't feel as invested this year. You know, sometimes like you watch a horse and you're just like, oh, like I want to see that one in the finals. I cannot wait to see that one go again. I didn't really have that this year. So yeah, I mean, it was great. The winning runs were great. I wasn't like.
Do you think you didn't
attached.
have the oohoo because there was so many good ones, or do you think you didn't have the oohoo because there wasn't one that was great that stood out? You know what I mean? Like when there's the whole finals of 30 horses.
It's hard to have one stand out when they're all so good.
And it sucked not being there in person, I will say.
It sucks, yeah, it really sucks watching it. Well, and yeah, like we watched it on the iPad instead of being there in real life and seeing them go. No, I don't think so. I think it just wasn't, my favorite futurity, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather be there in person even if it wasn't my favorite one ever, but
I feel like it's hard to
it just
gauge
wasn't-
the
I don't-
wow
I just don't
factor
think it
when you're not
was.
in person. I mean,
It-
like last year when you're standing right there. Now, what was your thought on
Yeah.
the sale? That's always a big one for us. We love to watch the sale.
Ooh, what was my thought on it?
Yeah.
My thought on it was that it's not even a big deal to have something go through the sale that is by a futurity champion and out of a futurity champion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a big deal. There are so many nice ones. I thought overall the horses that were selling really well were, they were bred. There was a lot of different studs that were represented that did well.
I feel like there was more in the show they get more represented in the show where that counts than in the sale barn. In the sale barn, people only want to buy 4 different studs.
But the high sellers were not all by the same studs.
True.
What I noticed, like there were some that I was watching where I thought that one has a good mother and it's by $1 million sire and it's just not, I thought it would have gone for more.
Mm-hmm.
And, color is always such a big indicator at sales. People love color, but I felt like at this sale, there were so many attractive horses that it wasn't just like, it didn't just take a little bit of color to make it kind of go high. It wasn't like, oh, it's a Palomino, so, it's a Palomino and it's got $1 million sire and the mother, whatever, earned $100,000 or something, so it's going to go high. It had to be like a Palomino with a bald face, with a big mane, like they're getting to be so flashy, There was very few plain sorrels or plain bays that brought very much money, even if they were really well bred and looked like nice horses.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thought.
Mm-hmm.
From watching it at home.
Yeah, that was
hard
depressing this year.
It's hard to see. It's hard to tell at home. You don't get to see them.
First we were sick, then we're also at home.
Yeah,
for a
we're
great
like-
weekend of watching
yeah.
a sale.
Blowing our noses and in and out of consciousness. Yeah. Maybe that's why it wasn't my favorite futurity ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then what was the other question that we had? Did we answer all of them? Who was your favorite horses? What was your favorite runs? The horse that fell down. Who won? I think we're missing one. Oh, what stud horses were represented? What stud horses were represented?
Well, I think there was definitely a slew of Inferno and Gunna Trashes and Spooks Gotta Whizzes. Those were the always got your standbys, your Magnums and all those ones. And after watching all that sale and show, who are you going to breed your mare to next year?
Oh, why would you ask me that? The only one that I thought you missed just a little bit there with those ones that you said was there was a bunch of Colonel Shining Guns.
Yeah, this was their big year.
There was a bunch of
After
Colonel
the
Shining Guns. So there was a ton of Gunna Trashes, a ton of Spooks Gotta Whizzes, a bunch of Colonel Shining Guns, but definitely a bunch of Infernos. And then all the, kind of the regular ones that stay up there.
So who
Who would I breed my mare to? What mare?
Your bed mare.
My deuce mare?
Mm-hmm.
I
already know who I'm breeding all the other ones to.
Can I breed to Nathan Piper's horse or no?
You can call
like,
him
what
up
are the
and
rules?
ask him.
What's
You can
the
call him up.
budget? What are the rules here?
Just call Nathan up. I don't know. Go ask him.
I did really like that horse a lot. I don't know that I'd breed him to the juice mare though. I'd like to breed the juice mare to Spook's Got a Whiz. Just because.
I'd breed her to a voodoo. That
Yeah.
spark juice across always works so well.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, I usually like to watch the non-pro and see what horses are doing really well in the non-pro because I know everybody likes to try to breed for like the next big superstar, and I think that is good, but the top of my list is always disposition and how trainable they are, and I think sometimes you see that more in the non-pro than you do in the open, or I mean, that's one of my strategies that I like to look more at the non-pro. And I think there was a lot of similarities actually. There was a bunch of Gonna Trashes, a bunch of Spook's Got a Whizzes, the Gunner Special Nights. There was definitely a bunch of Gunner Special Nights in the non-pro, not very many in the open, from what I saw. Yeah. Who you're gonna breed to?
I ain't telling.
Oh, okay. It's a secret.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, you love Nathan's horse. Yeah, that was a nice horse. Giant head on him, eh? Yeah, hopefully we answered those questions for you. And if you have some more questions, you're more than welcome to send them in to us. You can send them in to us wherever you're finding us, whether it's at on Facebook or Instagram or on YouTube. You can also send them to us directly at our email, which is hayescofelph@gmail.com. And check out our website to find out other ways that you can work with us, whether it is finding some tack items that we have set up behind us here, online coaching, in-person clinics and things. We don't have anything going on for the next little bit, but once the new year hits, we will be popping.
I think we should mention kind of two condolences this week. There was,
We're doing condolences now.
well, I think
Okay.
Dave Hamilton, who a cutter that always kind of come around the Richmond, and everybody kind of know him. He passed away this week, and an old Ontario trainer from many years ago, Noel Dockery, died this week. We know Noel's daughter quite well, and Noel was kind of an interesting fella. Started out steeple chasing and different things like that, and did a whole bunch of things. And he was in Ireland, and he passed away, and that was unfortunate.
You know, the other person that we didn't shout out, she's not Canadian, but Calla Thomas did so well in the
Calla Thomas did very well in
youth and the non-pro.
all the non-pros, the 1, 2, and 3, the youth. Her parents have been friends of ours for many years, so that was cool to see on a homegrown one again too.
That she trained, yeah.
And really homegrown too, because not only did Billy own the daddy, Natasha and Billy own the mother. Billy showed the daddy of the mother. Heck, when I first met him, he was showing that horse. So it was kind of neat to see it's always cool on a homegrown one, I think. Yeah, so kudos to them.
Yeah.
I forgot that one. Very cool. Neat thing about the fraternity, there's always some neat stories. One guy made the 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the open. That hasn't happened in a few years.
Yeah.
I don't remember the guy's name. I forget.
Yeah.
But that was cool to see. It's always neat to see
That was cool.
somebody make it across all 4.
Yeah.
I don't know what his final paycheck would be, but definitely raise his lifetime earnings substantially.
Yeah.
So, very cool.
Okay, thanks for being here with us, you guys, and we will see you soon.